2022 is looking like it'll end up being a landmark year for Nintendo Switch. Even right now, in the late stages of 2021, we already know some of the amazing stuff that will be dropping next year. Today, I'm ranking the upcoming 2022 games that we know about by my hype levels. As always, feel free to agree and disagree with me in the comments, and let's get started. First, I want to give a shout out to both Sonic Frontiers and the Dragon Quest III remake. Both look fantastic, and though they're not Nintendo games, they'll likely be on Switch, so I'm extremely hyped for that. Sonic is slated for the end of the year 2022 and is already confirmed for Switch. It looks like Sega and Sonic Team are taking a chance with a big, possibly open world Sonic, so what's not to love about that? And the DQ3 remake is yet to be announced for Switch, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm chomping at the bit to revisit one of the landmark RPGs of my childhood in such a beautiful game engine, so I'm really hoping for the slim chance it makes a 2022 release. Now, let's get to the real list. Speaking of that Octopath-style game engine, Triangle Strategy is a hardcore strategy RPG coming to Switch in March of next year. With this one, it seems like Square is looking to capture the same success they had with Octopath Traveler on the Switch, and I'm certainly not complaining. Even though I played through and loved Octopath, this is the only game I'm talking about today that might not be a day one buy for me. I'm expecting a pretty hefty amount of content with Triangle Strategy, and even though I'd surely enjoy it, this year coming up is going to be so packed with games that this one might get squeezed out. On this list, even if you are ranked lower, that means you'll still probably be an amazing game, and I can't wait to see what more Triangle Strategy has to offer us next year. Again, even though this game is ranked lower, it's not a slight at all against how amazing it looks. The anticipated follow-up to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle looks to have all the makings of a near-perfect sequel. There are few things better than kicking back with a grid-based strategy game, so between this and Triangle Strategy, fans are eating good this year. I give the edge to Sparks of Hope simply because I'm a huge Mario fanboy and I also love the first game. Though I'm not completely done with Kingdom Battle, I'm actually still working through it here and there, I still love the game quite a bit. From the trailers, Sparks of Hope seems to introduce a ton of new elements, so I'm thrilled to see how those pan out. And we have Rabid Rosalina now. What more do you want? Well, I guess a release date would be nice. I'm ashamed to admit that I'm not the biggest fan of Splatoon as I probably should be. The games are beautiful, breathtaking even, and are made so well in every aspect. And when looking at the Splatoon games as an art form, I certainly appreciate them greatly. However, when it comes to actually playing Splatoon, it's a different story. When it comes to Splatoon games, I love the single player modes. They are some of the most fun platforming experiences I've had, and I'm thrilled with what looks to be a large amount of new single player content coming to Splatoon 3. And even though I love single player in Splatoon so much, and that's really what I'm most excited for, I have fun with multiplayer modes as well. It's just that, well, to put it simply, I'm absolutely trash at shooter games. Anything from a first person perspective, especially if there's shooting involved, I basically flop around like a fish out of water. Despite this, it doesn't mean I can't learn to get better, and that's exactly what I plan to do with Splatoon 3. I'm very hyped for the Squid Kids' latest entry, and I can't wait to hop into some multiplayer games with some of you. Advance Wars is a series that I completely missed growing up and never really thought to check it out until recently. I'm so excited to see what such a well-loved series has to offer me, and this is why I rank Reboot Camp so high on my list. Not only do these two remade titles look fantastic on Switch, it's coming at the perfect time for me. I'm actually holding off on playing the original games just to experience these remakes fresh. I was definitely disappointed at the announcement of the delay, but it will make the Advance Wars Switch remake that much more worth the wait. The game is rumored to launch in the spring of next year, so we can celebrate making it through another winter with Advance Wars. It's funny how this worked out, but Bayonetta is another series that I completely missed. I plan to change that before Bayonetta 3 arrives next year, so I expect to see a lot of the Umbra Witch in the near future. Her games are highly acclaimed, so I'm super excited. Almost as excited as I am for Bayonetta 3, which looked absolutely breathtaking as the final reveal from the most recent Nintendo Direct. Nintendo must like how the game's coming along to give it that final reveal spotlight in a Direct, and I for one am excited to see more from what looks like an upcoming Nintendo Switch masterpiece. After such a long wait, hopefully Bayonetta 3 does make a 2022 release window. Nintendo is listing it on their official site, so that's definitely a very encouraging sign. The hype is definitely real with this one. Now moving on to my final 3 games, these ones coming up are in a tier of their own when it comes to hype levels. One of the darlings from the September Nintendo Direct, Kirby is back in grand style, and his new game looks bigger and better than ever. The reveal trailer for this game was one of my favorites in recent memory, and most importantly, Kirby and the Forgotten Land looks like a ton of fun. From the cool power-ups to the big explorable environment shown, there's so much to be excited about. And the best part, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've hardly seen anything about the Forgotten Land aside from this trailer. There are surely many more secrets yet to be revealed. I'm excited to learn more about the Forgotten Land, how Kirby got there, and what his mission is going to be in this latest adventure. We've never really had a true 3D Kirby like this, and it's such an exciting prospect. Mario has pretty much been the only 3D Nintendo platformer on the menu for quite some time now, so it's really exciting to see Chef Kirby serving up something new for 2022. It's surreal to think we're only just over a month away from Legends. The next evolution in the Pokemon franchise is just about here, and I can't wait to ignore my responsibilities and get lost in the Hisui region. Jokes aside, Pokemon is doing the classic slow rollout of new features and mons, and I could not be more excited. What's been revealed so far looks absolutely stunning, and to have an entire all-new region to explore takes the hype to astronomical levels. Legends Arceus seems to have made great strides since the initial reveal trailer too, so that's just another reason to be excited for January 28th. The Pokemon Company hasn't let me down yet, so I'm fully expecting great things from Legends. Also, fair warning, if you're afraid of spoilers, there's some pretty serious leaks out there, so watch out while you're on the internet for the next month or so. We almost made it, and make sure to keep it locked to this channel because we're going all in on a big review of Legends Arceus after it launches. I can't wait. I'm going to spare you the boredom of going on and on about Breath of the Wild 2, but I think I speak for most of us Nintendo fans that it's either Breath of the Wild sequel or Pokemon Legends that has us the most hyped for next year. I'm so happy with what we got from Zelda at E3, but we need a title and release date badly. The fact that they are keeping it under wraps could potentially point to Nintendo not being 100% certain the final product is going to make a 2022 deadline, which is a scary prospect. But you have to think they're relatively confident it will make a 2022 release, or they wouldn't have given that timeline at E3 in the first place. The game has been MIA ever since, but we know this means the team is still hard at work in the development trenches. The lack of clarity on the release date might also suggest that the scope of Zelda's next entry is going to be massive, possibly even bigger than the original Breath of the Wild, which is a crazy thought, and I don't want to get my hopes up too high. The sequel to Breath of the Wild is probably my most anticipated game of all time, and the initial reveal all the way back at E3 2019 makes the wait that much more agonizing. I'm hoping at the very least that by this time next year I'll have the game in my hands, but I'm okay at giving my favorite developers all the time they need to deliver what looks like an upcoming Nintendo masterpiece. But forget my opinion, I want to hear yours. What's your most anticipated game for next year? Is it a Nintendo game, or is it something from another console? I'd love to hear all about it, so let me know in the comments. I love discussing everything Nintendo with you all, so please feel free to leave your thoughts. If all these games do end up making a 2022 release, plus all of the upcoming games we do not yet know about, next year could certainly end up rivaling 2017 as gaming's greatest year of all time. I'm so excited for what's to come, and as we wait for all of these games, remember to keep it here on this channel for more quality Nintendo content. Thanks for watching.